I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlyn is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game just as a lot of other players have. But it is what it is, and I think that we are all benefiting from the effects that she's had on the game, and I just appreciate the way
When a Hall of Famer enters someone's podcast and shares more truth than a finals post-game presser, it's a crazy day in women's basketball, and I just like the way she shows up. In addition to defending Caitlyn Clark, Lesley recently gave a masterclass in poised perspective. Angel Reese was humbled by her own show, which drew thousands of listeners. Reese was in the front row for what can only be characterized as the most elegant clapback in podcast history.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups.
It wasn't about beef, it was about growth, and let's face it, someone had to say it. While the internet has been exploding over the Clark versus Reese saga, with fans making it into a Marvel-level rivalry, Lesley showed up playing a completely different game. She didn't take sides. Instead, she elevated the conversation by praising Clark's impact on the league one day and giving Reese the kind of mentorship you don't get in practice the next.
But she literally got called out for missing layups. I mean, on her own damn show.
Her own fucking show. Let's go back a little. 4 months now, Caitlyn Clark has felt as though she couldn't breathe without some WNBA veteran giving her the side eye or a passive-aggressive statement. Some members of the league were clearly not welcoming others, as evidenced by everything from jealously laced tweets to full-on body checks on the court. When Lesley, one of the WNBA's founding queens, stepped up and said, "Actually, Caitlyn's doing everything right," it hit like a game winner at the buzzer.
You want to see more WNBA people saying this, and it's just so...
Lesley, the lady who essentially established the WNBA's foundation, dunked before it was fashionable, and she knows precisely what it takes to carry a league. So when she says Caitlyn Clark is the real deal, people pay attention. This wasn't just another opinion from the peanut gallery.
And that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlyn has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So I just don't, again, I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlyn is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game.
Additionally, Lisa appreciated Clark's humility and willingness to help the legends who came before her in a league where some players act as like they invented the crossover, in addition to praising his skill. Clark's reverence for the game's past was particularly evident, as Lisa pointed out when she exclaimed, "Are you all even paying attention?" in a loud voice, because Caitlyn was out here delivering flowers to the pioneers while some were busy griping about camera time.
Listen, she's a competitor. She's a trash talker. She makes players around her better. She's exciting to watch. And quite frankly, I've missed seeing her. Being at Unrivaled, she was there. I've missed seeing her play. So I really look forward to seeing her back out there. But as I do all of the WNBA players, we are really watching a very exciting level of basketball.
However, let's discuss the actual moment. The turn that caused everyone to gasp. Lesley took it to Reese herself, sitting down with Angel Reese on her, rather than merely defending from the sidelines. When Angel had complete control of the microphone and the edit button during a podcast, Lesley went into full-on truth-teller mode. What she did was stare Reese in the eye and point out her worst flaw, those bricked layups.
The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period. We're going to fix that. Yeah. That's fixable for you. And I think that's probably the biggest. I think your shot from the outside is improving. I love that your ball handling is good. Your defense is improving.
Let's take a moment to appreciate the circumstances. You expect some legacy talk, maybe a few giggles, and a girl power vibe when you bring a legend on your show, but instead you get your personal problems airing out like laundry in front of thousands of listeners. It wasn't mean or petty, but it was genuine, and to be honest, it was the kind of coaching moment Reese might not get anywhere else.
Anywhere else.
Hoops game where she literally needs to put up like 300 shots a day. And I'm not kidding. Like 200 or 300 shots a day, and that's missed layups. She's 6'3" or 6'4", can't hit a layup to save her life. And literal videos have went mega viral of just her missing layups in games.
In the same way that a Hall of Famer would pull a struggling rookie aside and say, "You have the tools, but your fundamentals need work. If Angel is intelligent, she will take it as a gift." Lisa didn't drag Reese. Instead, she taught her, which is what makes her such a force. She also didn't embarrass Angel. Instead, she elevated her by speaking the truth.
You got to go out there and prove yourself. And listen, are we going to get upset about 5, 6, 10 games less on television or not? I don't think we should. We have access to find these games now in a way that we never had before. And we have to appreciate that, and all these platforms that support the W.
Lisa knows better than anyone else in the league that when the stars rise, everyone wins. And Caitlyn Clark isn't just rising. She's taking the world by storm. Lesley reminded everyone that veterans are not threatened by Clark's prominence. Rather, it is a rising tide. More viewers translate into more revenue, more media attention, more seats filled, and most importantly, a future in which both veterans and newbies receive the compensation they are due. Lesley even confronted Stephen about the turmoil surrounding Clark's TV time.
Stephen A. Smith had a very interesting discourse with Fee recently over the number of games the Fever broadcasted this season compared to other teams who have also got stars on them. So I'm curious what you make of W's decision to lean into highlighting its stars.
When players like Reese and others gripe about the number of national games Clark's team receives, Lesley responded like a professor. "When one of us eats, we all eat." In other words, if you're upset about TV slots, you should be grateful to her for increasing the audience.
I think it's all about money, marketing, and we cannot deny what Caitlyn Clark has done for the women's game. I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect called the Caitlyn Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlyn Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television?
Recall how Caitlyn Clark's college success at Iowa was questioned by certain players and even ESPN just because she failed to win a national championship.
Curious, where would you rank her amongst all-time college players in your opinion?
Ooh, that's tough because you got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those spaces where you got to win one for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard.
Hard. And guess what? Lisa Lesley also clapped back.
Curious if you think winning an NCAA championship is needed for that eventual GOAT conversation, greatest of all time status.
Absolutely not. I didn't win an NCAA championship. I was National Player of the Year. I won all of the individual awards. But sometimes, it's very hard to win a national championship, regardless of how much people talk about it like, oh, you have to have it. It is one of the hardest things to do in a tournament where you have so many games and you're trying to get there. So, yeah, shout out to all of the players who were able to win national championships, but it doesn't make a player who didn't win a national championship any less of an amazing individual player and the possibility to be in the talks of being a GOAT for sure.
Then Lisa replied, "Clark deserves all of this attention, the endorsements, the hype because she's changing the game." Not hype, but a coronation coming from someone who actually changed the game herself.
Listen, Caitlyn, I am so thankful for her. I'm thankful for all of these women and where this game is, and we have to step back and see the big picture and how it's impacting all of us.
So, what did we see? Not only a defense of Caitlyn Clark or a critique of Angel Reese, but a moment in which one of the greatest players in history reminded everyone of the true nature of leadership. You are lifted, you are correct, and most importantly, you speak the truth, even if it is difficult. Someone else's mic, because at the end of the day, Lisa Lesley isn't here to play favorites. She's here to make the game better. And Caitlyn Clark, she's proving every day that she's more than just a media star. She's the future Lisa Lesley has been waiting for.
And Lisa Lesley is completely on the money here. And that's just a problem when it comes to a lot of the old WNBA, is that they just can't They just can't not even wrap their head around. They can't just accept, okay, this person is more popular than me.
Instead of receiving a standing ovation, Angel Reese received something far more valuable, a reality check from Lesley. Not just any criticism, but a straight-up masterclass on layups. Yes, layups are one of the first skills you learn. You would think a player would dream of basking and nothing but praise from a Hall of Famer. If Bayou Barbie Reese wants to establish her brand in youth basketball, she might want to include Layup Lab Rat in her Instagram bio.
It's just a fact. She is, it's more than a fact. She is not good at layups. But I was looking at her stats. I jotted some down right here, and she shoots an abysmal 39% from the field. She shot below 50% on shots less than 5 feet away, which is bad. And even worse than that is that shots from 5 to 9 feet, 13%. This is like WNBA leveling up and all eyes on her now. I think that she knows that she has to completely restructure her form, because that is not the way to be efficient in the post position that she is in. At the post position that she's in, a layup is supposed to be a given. She needs to improve her touch around the rim, like all over the place, but she seems to take these desperation shots.
This is when things start to get interesting. Angel could have removed the difficult parts from that podcast, as she had total control over it. Parts ignored the criticism and gave her followers the traditional all-love Queen rendition, but she didn't let it go because that was a plot twist in and of itself. Perhaps Angel realized that this was sunlight rather than shadow, since Lesley was attempting to help her grow rather than to make fun of her.
Look, let's give her credit for trying to evolve her game. We have to give her a little credit. I think she realizes my game is incomplete.
The meeting wasn't one-sided either. Lesley came to mentor Reese rather than to make fun of her. She gave her accolades and complimented her on her improved ball handling. This is when things start to get interesting. Angel could have removed the difficult parts from that podcast, as she had total control over it. Parts ignored the criticism and gave her followers the traditional all-love Queen rendition, but she didn't let it go because that was a plot twist in and of itself. Perhaps Angel realized that this was sunlight rather than shadow, since Lesley was attempting to help her grow rather than to make fun of her.
Did that actually happen on Angel's own podcast? Wow. That is pretty embarrassing to have someone come on your podcast and, as a professional basketball player, hey, what do you think I need to work on? Layups. Okay, good luck with that, girl.
The meeting wasn't one-sided either. Lesley came to mentor Reese rather than to make fun of her. She gave her accolades and complimented her on her improved ball handling. Lesley is different from your typical analyst because she doesn't just break down tape. She breaks down barriers because she understands that mentoring isn't about gassing someone up or being easy on them. It's about telling the truth even when it stings. It also opened up a larger conversation about the mental side of the game that no one, especially not newcomers, wants to admit they're struggling with.
I'm going to authentically and seriously give Angel Reese credit, because it's a podcast and it's her podcast. And if she wanted to edit that out, she could have.
However, this is the unexpected twist. Angel Reese didn't flinch, exit the interview in a fit, or clap back. Rather than using a TikTok, she allowed the criticism to flow and made it public in the episode Let It Go. By doing this, she revealed a part of herself that we haven't seen before, showing vulnerability and drawing attention from fans in a league where appearance is everything.
I think there's some self-awareness here that she's heard the loud roar and the pushback. She's understands like, hey, things I got away with in college, I'm not going to get away with in the W.
However, there's more going on here. Lesley isn't just randomly offering tough love. She's creating a blueprint for what WNBA leadership should look like. She's demonstrating how we elevate the league by holding people accountable rather than by fostering petty rivalries. She backs Clark because she recognizes generational greatness and criticizes Reese because she sees unrealized potential. This isn't favoritism. Rather, it's framework.
Bigger and stronger than everybody else, And so the things that were hidden in college and particularly in high school that I can't do it anymore. And so I might as well be honest about it and authentic. I'm working on it, guys.
The problem is that Lesley isn't playing favorites. Rather, she's aiming to create something greater than viral moments and small-scale feuds. She's creating a league where young players develop into stars and everyone advances because, in the end, Lesley doesn't have to choose a side because she already chose the sport. Despite this, social media still can't tell which side Lisa is on.
Like, just thank you, Lesley. Thank you, Lesley. I cannot stress this enough. Thank you. There is somebody with sense. There is actually somebody with some sense.
What we are observing with while the rest of the league struggles over airtime and endorsement deals, Lesley is currently not only a model for women's basketball, but also a masterclass in leadership. Lesley is working hard to develop a long-term plan for the WNBA's prosperity. Her strategy is to honor the stars that bring in supporters while holding everyone who aspires to join them accountable. It's functional leadership, not favoritism.
It's all about money, Mark, and we cannot deny what Caitlyn has done for women's game. Said Lesley, 2-time champion, 3-time MVP. Why would we feel some type of way that she has more television games? I don't know what the big deal is of the fact Caitlyn is getting a lot of love. She deserves this, and she's helped change the game.
Let's examine Lisa's public support for Caitlyn Clark. She's not merely praising the celebrity. Rather, she's recognizing a fundamental business reality. A league cannot expand without expanding its viewership, and Clark is achieving just that. Viewership figures don't lie. States like Iowa, which never had a high WNBA ranking, are now top-tier markets. Even when Clark isn't playing, her fans aren't just watching her. They're investing in the whole league. But Lesley's vision is deeper than metrics and market share. When she turns around and gives Angel Rhea tough love layups tutorial, she's doing the work that others won't. That moment wasn't an attack. Rather, it was an invitation to level up and find fine-tuning so that she can leave a legacy based on skill and impact rather than hype. Lesley not only pointed out Reese's shortcomings, but she also laid up a plan for her to succeed.
I just don't know if it's fixable. This isn't Steve Sachs with problems with the yips.
The yips.
This isn't a golfer with the yips on a golf course. This is, if you make it to age 22, 23, and you can't shoot a layup.
Perhaps the most innovative aspect of Lesley's strategy is how she combines business and basketball without sacrificing either. She isn't choosing between selling jerseys and improving the fundamentals. Instead, she is doing both, demonstrating that the WNBA needs both. You want fans in the stands, you want championships, you want better players, you do both, and you build a league that lasts. At the moment, the WNBA is at a crossroads. The temptation is to either protect the veterans or glamorize the stars, but Lesley is doing neither. She is demonstrating that genuine progress occurs when the league embraces difficult discussions and recognizes those who move the needle, boost the standard, and increase the attention.
Like, this is straightforward. And let's be real, every single person knows this. They know this. It's not like they are, like, these people that are complaining about this don't know exactly what Lesley said. They're just scared to say it.
And that's the genius of Lisa's strategy. She's not elevating Clark and pushing Reese aside. Rather, she's creating room for everyone else because when one player succeeds, it opens the door for others to follow, and when Reese reaches her full potential, it will be because of times like these when mentorship triumphs and honesty defeats ego. The question now is, will the other WNBA veterans follow Lisa's example?
Anyone talking rationally knows, like, what has happened to the WNBA right now is going to be the best thing for them, and it's going to be the best thing in the future. But it's like, and you're going to see it, you see it in every walk of life, where it's like, if you had it hard and somebody down the line has it easy, a lot of the time you're going to be complaining about the people that have it easy.
And take the lead, or will they continue to mistake stardom for rivalry and mentorship for criticism? One thing is clear, Lesley isn't here to play favorites. She's here to create a future where the ball is in your court as long as you put in the effort. Caitlyn Clark's fame spurs development, and her light can shine on everyone. Do you agree, Angel Reese? If so, please let us know in the comments. Subscribe and enable all alerts so you don't miss anything. We'll see you in the next one. Click the video on the screen.